Hey guys, just a short video here to catch up on what I've been working on. We got a few steeds in the garage here in the corral. This one here is a 99 Yamaha TTR250. I got it as part of a package deal. I got that bike, my 1980 Yamaha IT175, and a antique ride mower. I traded it for a ride mower, so I think I did pretty good on that. This bike here, there's I've shot footage. I'm not sure if it's at this time if it's posted or not. Probably not. But I had one of these when I was a kid. When I was 14, I had the same bike. Not this exact bike, but this is exactly the same as it. But anyways, this one here is a 1981 XR100. Belongs to a neighbor of mine. He's graciously lent it to me so I could teach my daughter how to ride on dirt. He did a nice job cleaning this up. Got the motor redone, cleaned everything up, got everything repainted. Everything seems to be in good shape. It was sitting in a shed for quite a while. The tank has got a bunch of rust in it. I think eventually I'm going to give him a hand and we're going to coat the inside of that thing. So I had to improvise and put an external fuel filter on it to catch all the debris that's coming out of the tank before it reaches the carburetor. But anyways, I got the carb off. I got it cleaned out. Got a lot of the loose stuff shaken out of the tank. Got it fired back up, got the carb set, runs like a champ. What a neat little bike this is. Nice to handle, nice and slow for the beginners. When you wind them out, they go pretty good for beginner bike. It's a good little size. The 80 IT175, it's getting better progressively. The side plates were all covered with black paint. The gas tank was all covered with some weird black paint. Came off like rubber. It was actually delaminated. I had to redo all the spokes. They were all very, very loose. I had to redo all the spokes. Put another tire on it. I had the carburetor off 2 times. I got to take it off one more time so I can set the float level a little better. It tends to overflow a little if it sits on its side. I think the float level is just a little too high. The fuel level should be below the gasket surface for the bowl. So I think it's just sitting above it and it's just weeping out of the gasket. I redid the front, number plate, headlight surround. It's a 6-volt system on this bike. There's no battery. It's a 6-volt coil, runs off the crank, and it works pretty good actually. It's very, very bright. I have to get a new bulb and lens for the back though. The number areas on these bikes, you can buy all the decals, reproduction decals for this. The 3, 2, and the third plate on the other side of this bike, I can buy those. They were $60 US, so I decided, well, I'm not going to do that. So I just masked it up real nice, and they're actually painted with John Deere yellow. Not bad, works okay. That's alright. I had to replace the exhaust seal and springs because that front head pipe was pulling away from the engine. It was smoking out of there pretty bad. This engine runs a 24, or it's supposed to be a 24-to-1 mixture with the old style oil, Yamalube. I run 32-to-1, a little leaner on the oil. I run 32-to-1 with 91 octane no ethanol fuel and synthetic 2-stroke oil. It still curls smoke, which tells me there's enough in the engine, but it doesn't need to be all slobbery. So those parts from the factory are still available. The ITs share a lot of items in common with the YZs, and they're still making a lot of parts. So interestingly enough, the seal that goes inside on that pipe, that seal was like $6, and each one of the springs was $10. So it was more money for the springs than it was for the gasket. But I've done a little bit of cleanup on that bike. Want to get it as stock as I can. It's not a restoration. I don't want to restore it. I want to be able to drive it. I want to not be worried about wrecking things. So I painted the exhaust. Seat cover is still in good shape. Now it's too dark over here to see anything. But anyways, that's that bike. There's video on that. Moving on to the TTR. Like I said, this was part of a deal. Basically, I consider this a free bike. I did the deal for that bike. That's what I wanted. It was worth it to me. So this ended up being a free bike, in my mind anyways. This one's had a hard life. This was smoking like crazy. The fellow that I got it from said that it needs a set of rings. Well, I would say. When I took it apart, the engine had already been bored out to the first oversize, 0.5 millimeter. I was hoping I could just take the jug off, inspect it, and say, you know what, that's still good, and just throw a new set of rings in it, and just pop it back together and just get rid of it. But no luck there. Got to the bore, and you can see that there's crosshatch here. But if you go, the head is upside down. The bore is actually upside down, so this is the bottom. The piston travel where the rings are. There's no crosshatch left here, and I can actually feel a bit of a ridge, just a small little ridge there. So unfortunately, this is going to have to go to another oversized bore. So it's going to go up to 1 millimeter oversize. I priced out parts. I priced out the machining locally here. I can get all the parts from the dealer. It's actually less expensive than aftermarket. And the boring out, I got a local machine shop here that can do it for about $100. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to gather parts. We're going to send the jug out. When I get the new piston, I'm going to send it with the jug so he can measure it up, get things going. We'll get it bored out and put back to service. I did have the carburetor bowl off. I didn't want to do a complete tear down because there's all kinds of gaskets and things in here, and I don't want to buy all that stuff. It was running. It ran just fine. It just smoked like crazy. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was clean inside here. There was a couple of little pieces in there. It wasn't too crazy bad. So I did a quick clean out on it. I did not put it in the sonic cleaner because I don't want to wreck any seals or gaskets or anything. It's got a plastic slide in it. The throttle slide is plastic. I don't want to swell anything. I don't want to wreck anything. So there's our camshafts out of the TTR. Exhaust and intake. They're in good shape. They work okay. The rest of the bolts. Those bolts are huge. Timing chain slide. And the piston. It was extremely fuzzy. This thing was burning a crazy amount of oil. So this 5.0 here. Excuse me, that tells me that it's already the first oversize. The second oversize, this would read 100. And that's a factory oversized piston. It says Yamaha on it. So I figured, you know what, factory stuff is good. I like the factory stuff. Works out to be cheaper anyways. In this case, not always, sometimes. Well, that's alright. Move over to the cylinder head here. You can see what kind of ugliness is in there. That's pretty caked up, soaking wet. That's oil. I didn't put that in there. That's exactly the way it was when I took it out. So anyways, that's pretty much the end of the video. I just want to touch base, let you know what's going on. I did not do any video of working on this one, and I have not done any video on working on this one, and I probably won't. It's tedious. It's intricate, and it would just make for a 2-hour long video that would just drag on and on. So when I get it back together and get it fired up and broken in, we'll do a little bit of video on that, rolling it around and getting other things going. It needs some brake work and other things, but we'll catch up with that later. I want to make sure that the engine's good and golden before I do anything else. I'll inspect some more to make sure that everything's okay. No sense getting the engine all done and having, you know, something majorly wrong that it's going to cost another $500-600 or whatever to fix. So I don't want to get into that. I'll do an inspection, make sure everything else is going to be okay before I go ahead and do the engine work. Alright guys, thanks for joining me for this quick video. Like I said, just wanted to catch up, let you know what's going on. And maybe we'll get some more footage of that. I like that one. Anyways guys, thanks again. Take care. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. Especially part 2s. Part 2s of videos, it's nice to be able to see the end result of the work. So, till next time, take care.